My name is Barry Smith. I'm a professor of philosophy and director of the Institute of Philosophy at the University of London's School of Advanced Study. Welcome to my exp. My interest as a philosopher of perception in the neglected senses, taste and smell, leads me to one of the more complicated and interesting topics, and that is the topic of wine and how we can taste and appreciate wine. Now, it's very interesting that we know nowadays a lot of science goes into winemaking, a lot of tremendous knowledge of how to do better work in the vineyards, how to cultivate the grapes, and indeed when turning the grapes into wine in the winery, there's a lot of science, a lot of enology about the process of fermentation and the control of the process to make sure we're delivering better wine. Now, when we say that, that means somehow all of that science is in the service of delivering a certain subjective experience in the minds of the drinkers. So it seems to me there's already a philosophical issue here. In looking at wine, we're looking at how we get from science to subjectivity. How do we get all the way from what we do, cultivating the grapes, crushing them, fermenting them, storing them in barrels, putting them in bottles, to the ultimate experience that people have where they find a wine extraordinary, beautiful, delicious. And I'm very interested in whether or not there is an objectivity to the taste of a wine or whether it's a purely subjective matter. I think it's interesting that wine professionals, they know an awful lot more about wine than I do, but they often say, and of course, taste is subjective. And I think, just a minute, subjectivity, objectivity, that's core business in philosophy. That's something that I really want to think about and contribute to. So one question that I think arises for every ordinary drinker and lover of wine is actually a deeply philosophical question. Is the taste of the wine just happening in me as a matter of my subjective response to it? Or is the ultimate taste of the wine in the glass, in the wine? So where is the taste or flavor of that wine? And can there be such a thing as the true taste of a wine? Something which we can perceive and get right or get wrong? And I think there is. I think when we're tasting wine, there is very little difference between the novice and the expert at the level of how their perceptual systems work. If both people have a good sense of smell, if they have similar number of taste buds on the tongue, they're probably getting something like the same sensory experience. But there is a difference between the way they can understand and appreciate what's happening to them at that time. Because the person who knows that they're drinking a Burgundy and they know this is a Burgundy from 2006, it was a very good year, but the wine is now very well aged. How is it? Is it still in good shape? Has it changed from being soft raspberry fruit into something a little more gamey, a little earthier? That person is able to take a pleasure in the way they exercise their discrimination, in a way they notice what's going on there. I think we can perceive the tastes and flavors, and we have to be taught how to perceive the level of acidity in the wine. Why is that astringent, dry mouth feeling happening? It's coming from the tannins in the wine. What does that mean? These are properties of polyphenols in the grape skins. And at first it's just a sensation in the mouth, and a lot of people say, oh, I don't like that bitter, astringent taste. But eventually, when you tell them that that's the taste of what the skins of the grape, the red grape, contribute to the wine, they stop thinking about just their own sensation and they start feeling the tannins in the wine. They move from the inside out and they start noticing, are they fine-grained? Are they coarse-grained? Are they hard? Are they soft? So we learn to investigate and explore a wine, to interrogate it with our senses when we know what we're looking for. But the question is, can we perceive the quality of a wine? Is that perceptible, or is that just a matter of taste, the way people talk? De gustibus non est disputando. It's just a personal opinion. Well, I don't think it is. I think the quality of a wine is something that we should separate from whether we like it or not. Think of questions in aesthetics. Can people recognize the beauty of an artwork or even of a person and still say, but I feel unmoved by it? This person's very attractive. They've got classical beauty, but I don't find them personally attractive. Or can somebody say, this is a very beautiful, well-made wine of a certain grape variety from a particular vintage, but nonetheless, it's not for me. And I think wine critics can do that.